Unfortunately, not all of our cabinet members could join us. We have 4 empty seats, which is a terrible thing, because the Senate Democrats are continuing to obstruct the confirmation of our nominees for the Department of Labor, the Department of Agriculture, the Director of National Intelligence, and the United States Trade Representative.
All right, that was President Trump earlier today, meeting for the first time with his cabinet. Now it's still short, 4 members, because of Democratic obstructionists in the Senate. But those on the left are not alone in their efforts to derail the president and his agenda. 2 Republican senators, John McCain, Lindsey Graham, constantly attacking the Republican president, colluding with the alt-left propaganda media and the liberal snowflakes. Now, don't forget, Senator Graham, he made a promise. He broke that RNC pledge. He didn't support Donald Trump in the general election like he said he would. And listen to John McCain. He's on TV every other night criticizing the president.
President Trump has to provide the American people, not just the Intelligence Committee, but the American people with evidence that his predecessor, former President of the United States, was guilty of breaking the law, because our Director of National Intelligence, General Clapper, testified that there was absolutely no truth to that allegation. So I think the president has one of 2 choices: either retract or to provide the information that the American people deserve.
Here with reaction, conservative commentator Monica Crowley, Fox News senior correspondent Geraldo Rivera. Geraldo, I'll start with you. Look, everybody has free speech. We make our living with free speech. Here is the first time Republicans have a chance to do really, really big things. And it's like a never-ending attack by these 2 guys. They seem bitter for whatever reason. Lindsey Graham, we know, is bitter because he couldn't even get, what, 2% in his home state of South Carolina.
You know, full disclosure, these 2 fellows, however much of a pain in the neck to the president they are, they represent my wing of the Republican Party. You might call it the Rhino wing. I call it the moderate Republican, the traditional Rockefeller Republican wing. And they are really seduced, I think, by the liberal media, in the sense that the more they oppose the president, the more they have access to MSNBC and CNN and the other news outlets who want very much to criticize the president. So they put on McCain and Graham. But when the rubber hits the road, you mentioned the cabinet and the empty seats. Look at the Rex Tillerson nomination to be Secretary of State. They both opposed it initially, and then both voted for it.
Here's what I want to ask you,
I think
though,
substantively it's not a big deal.
All right, you and I, we've had passionate debates, and you have become like a brother to me. You're one of my closest friends. I love Geraldo Rivera. We're buddies. If you have a problem with me, why don't you come to me? If something you were doing was bothering me as a friend, I'd go, hey, Geraldo, what are you doing? Why don't they go to the press? Why do they have to race to CNN every 5 seconds with every minor critique? And you know what? I lost respect for Lindsey Graham for not keeping his word.
I think you really laid it out, and I think the problem is that there's not enough of a personal relationship between these gentlemen and the President of the United States. You talk about our friendship, our deep and abiding friendship. I would never go behind your back on a substantive issue, because face-to-face we are blood brothers. This is not the relationship that the President of the United States has. I think that the more he isolates himself behind his closed circle, the less he's going to be able to work with these people.
He's invited everybody in. Let me throw this to Monica, bring her into this. Monica, he's inviting everybody in. Now that they laid out a health care bill and they rolled it out too soon and they didn't have consensus, now it's his mess. He's got to clean up their mess.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And look, to Geraldo's point, I wish it were that easy, where the president could invite Senators McCain and Graham in and all would be well. But we know with their track record that that's likely not to be the case. I have enormous respect for these senators, but they have made careers of being contrarian. They're notorious for breaking ranks with conservatives, aligning with moderates, and even Democrats to support certain positions. So we know that they are no fans of this president, and they are going to take every opportunity that they can to criticize his agenda and to criticize him. That is not going to change despite any kind of charm offensive. The problem, Sean, is that the Democrats never break ranks, ever. The Republicans do every 5 minutes.
I'm not saying that they should hold back. One thing that they're saying, work with the president and look, this country is in a precipitous decline. we have a chance to fix it. They can be part of the solution, and it seems it's so self-serving on their part.
They could, Sean, but you know, they are so interested in courting the other side and wanting good coverage from the New York Times and the Washington Post, which when both men ran for president, they did not get. So they get no credit for standing on principle, and yet they get used by the other side.
Let me give you an example. If Geraldo and I had really big issues that we had to deal with in front of us, we would sit down, and I am certain, 100% certain, we'd hammer it out, and we'd come up with the best idea. Nobody's going to get everything they want in this bill, but if you sit down and talk instead of, racing to CNN, really? Both of them. What are they doing, Geraldo?
Well, I think a big test will be now the Congressional Budget Office has given us this a kind of stark news. Yes, you're going to save an awful lot of money in the federal deficit on the one hand, but you're going to lose a lot of people being insured on the other hand.
Mandate.
I would love to see what happens now. Where will Graham, where will McCain go? Will they try to finesse it, particularly with the issue of Medicaid expansion? How are they going to be on both sides of the road? I think that will really be a test of whether they are truly patriotic GOP members or if they really are just outliers.
You know what? Me and Geraldo, we could fix this, bring the two sides together, and then we'll fix the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
And I'll help, Sean. I'll help.
Okay.
There you go. What a party.
We'll bring Bo along just for entertainment. All right. When we come back tonight, right here on Hannity. Snoop Dogg pulling a fake gun on a clown dressed as President Trump for his new music video. Really? Niger Innes, Anthony Scaramucci weigh in on that disgusting display. And what if it was Barack Obama?